I just wanted to make sure.
East River Park's going to
It'll be a whirlwind.
$500,000.
Wanting this for quite a while.
It's one
Good evening.
evening. We'd like to welcome everyone to the Elizabethton City Schools Board of Education April meeting. If everyone would please stand, I'm going to ask Dr. Gardenauer to lead us in a moment of silence and pledge the flag.
Okay, let's bow for a moment of silence. Thank you. Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. It's time for citizens to speak in accordance with Board Policy 1.404. Anyone wishing to address the board, please come forward, state your name and address. Robin Montgomery contacted us and asked to be put on the agenda, so I'm going to ask Ms. Montgomery if she'd come up to the podium, please. Looks like Ms. Montgomery and Company.
Hello, my name is Robin Montgomery. I live at 301 Ridgecrest Drive here in Elizabethton. And I first want to thank you for the opportunity to address you about the concerns for these girls and the parent boosters. And I also want to thank Coach Wilson. Is he in here? He met with us, some of the parents and students yesterday. He was very helpful, very engaged, and we very much appreciate him answering a lot of our questions. Now, this group standing here, I'm going to introduce you to them. That's your upcoming senior class of Lady Cyclones. They're pretty, but besides that, they've had both the blessing and the curse of being one class behind one of the best classes of Lady Cyclone basketball players, if not the best class of Lady Cyclone basketball players to ever come through Elizabethton High School. In fact, if they'd been in any other school, or maybe under any other staff, they'd have a lot of playing time in the last couple of years. And the past staff's lopsided scoring routine, while it's embarrassing and aggravating, it did not hurt the other schools nearly as bad as it did these girls, because the other schools dealt with it twice, maybe 3 times a year, but these girls dealt with it every single game. Now, first of all, before I go any further, I want to say I'm not criticizing the 5 seniors we have now. We love them. They're family too. That's not intended. But now, how did these girls respond to all this? They continued to work hard. They didn't quit. And they behaved with dignity and character that I'm not sure some of us adults would have. Now, ironically, they're good basketball players. I'm going to share their season records for the last 4 years, starting with their 8th grade. 8th grade, there were 23-4. 9th grade, there were 33-1. 10th grade, 33-4. 11th grade, 30-3. That's not talking about the varsity record. That's their record. That's 119-12. Now it's their turn. Their senior year. And they're faced with sanctions. They're faced with restrictions. And they're absolutely innocent and did nothing to deserve what's going on. Now I've come and I'm representing the parent boosters and these girls. We have some requests for you that we'd like for you to consider. Number 1, we want you to do everything that is possible, everything in your power, to give them a coach that is qualified and deserving of these girls. While speed of hire is desirable, it's not the most important thing. We'd rather have an applicant pool that's good. And if this 10 days on the school website does not provide that applicant pool, we ask you to consider advertising this a little further in a bigger market and get a good coach for these girls. Number 2, open gym. The TSSAA sanctions do not restrict these girls from having open gym practice right now. That's shooting and weightlifting and such. However, the school system requirement that a school system employee be present while they're in open gym is making that very difficult on these girls, if not improbable. We understand the liability. We understand that. But we'd like to ask if you'd see if there is some school employee who would step forward and volunteer to be a chaperone for these girls and to help them schedule time in the gym, time in the weight room, which there's a lot of competition for, until a coach is hired. Number 3, we asked Coach Wilson something that was that put him a little on the spot, and he's graciously agreed. We asked him to make one more appeal, not for all of the sanctions to be removed, but for at least these girls to have a few more scrimmages in the fall. And he's graciously agreed to do that. I realize that it may be an effort and futility, but all they can say is no. That's the worst that can happen. Now, in conclusion, the success of this Lady Cyclone basketball program did not start with the last coaching staff. It's been maybe getting close to 20 years that we've been known to be very good. And if not for the sake of just these seniors, we ask you for these juniors. And in our meetings that we've been having, there's been a lot of 8th graders who are real excited and their parents coming. We ask you for those ladies as well to give these girls the tools and the opportunities and the staff that'll help them continue the excellence, the tradition. History shows that if girl or any student is involved in organized, supervised social connections in school, it helps them stay in school, it helps them stay out of trouble, and it helps them excel in the classroom. Now, the reason we brought this before you, you may say we're planning on doing that anyway. But if we just wait and you hire someone and it's not the best person for the job, it's too late. So we wanted to come up before you in the first place and tell you what we'd really like to have. I was in the Carter County Leadership Program a couple years back, and I was so proud and excited when I toured our city schools, our improvements, the flight simulator at the high school, the rescue squad at the high school, the culinary arts equipment. I'm so proud when the band wins the state championship. I cannot wait till the football wins one. I love this school. I went to this system, and it's in my blood. Do right by these girls. That's what we ask. Let's go ahead and...
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay. Hearing none, it's time to approve the consent and regular agenda. Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Thank you. Can I have a second?
Second.
Do we have any questions or comments on the consent or regular agenda? All right. Item on the floor is to approve the consent and regular agenda. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Dr. Gardenauer?
Okay. We're talking about several things going on within the school system right now. We're very pleased that we will be starting on our new track facility, the rubberized track, and that if you looked at our little flyer that's going out to everyone, we would love to invite everyone to come to our groundbreaking, which is going to come up on the 21st, this Thursday at 1:30. So if you mark that on your calendars or schedules and be a part of that. Dr. Newman, would you please stand up for a second? This is if you don't know Dr. Newman, she's new to our system, but has been around education for quite some time. And she's been with us this year, and we're so proud of her and her staff and our curriculum staff because they've been working tirelessly. And specifically, she has received a few grants here recently, and that's really going to help our school system. And we want to give her a round of applause for doing that. Thank you. Governor Haslam came out this week with a waiver that we have for teachers on test scores for this year. So we will be getting information out to them on the options that they have, which is much welcomed by all of our academic and teachers and staff. We worked last week a lot, and I talked with Phyllis Hodges from the System Nutrition and the State Nutrition Board. And we're talking about our Chartwell's possibility and looking at that still. And we looked at the RFPs last week, and we're trying to work on that. That'll probably be a next year thing. At this point, they think the process will at least take 4 months, so we're working on that, but we will work during this year. And Ms. Wilson and I met today, and we're going to be working on improvements we can make this year, just what we currently have. And they've already stepped through, Ms. Wilson and Ms. Williams have stepped through to offer a breakfast in the classroom program that we're going to offer at our elementaries this year. And we think that that's going to be really help us, not only financially, but help all of our kids have opportunity to eat breakfast, even if they're coming in a little late. Our music room grand opening is coming on May 5th. It's going to follow the jazz band men's ensemble concert. So we want everyone to come out for that. I think it's around 7 o'clock, if Tom, about 7 o'clock, I think, is when it starts. And then we'll have a reception. And central office will be providing reception for everyone, cookies and punch and that type of thing on that time. We want to remind you of Honors Day at EHS. That's coming on May 10th at 9 o'clock. Probably be there around, if you can, be there around 8:30 to make sure you have all the information you need to present awards. Graduation, of course, is May 14th. This month, too, we have something exciting going on. We're writing a grant with the Boys and Girls Club on drug prevention, and we really want to go and start working with at-risk families or having issues, offer counseling, those types of things. So we're going to be working with them on that. We started today working on our back-to-school bash. We have some churches and one specific church that's really going to go all in to try to have school supplies for children who need them. And we're going to be working together to have a big back-to-school bash for everyone in the system. And so that's something we'll have planned for starting back to school. And I think that's it. And we have a few presentations tonight. And Mr. Campbell, if you'd come forward.
All right, back in December, Mr. Hensley, our new librarian at the high school, sent me some information about a pretty neat thing called the XQ Super School Project. And so Mr. Hensley, Mr. Profit, and I decided that we would like to make this a project for my sociology class to work on. And Mr. Wright agreed that we could do that with my sociology class. And they spent about a month this semester researching brain development, history of education, jobs, all types of things like that. And they have submitted a proposal to the XQ Super School Project, and they're going to be telling you about what has been going on in about the last 3 months. So I believe they have everything pulled up on the smart board back there. I'll turn it over to them.
Hello, we are the representatives of our group project. This is Cody Decker.
Hello.
I am Ellie Decker, and this is Eliana Rangel, sorry.
All right, so today we're here to announce our involvement in the Project XQ mission to create our Bartleby Super School. Now, there have been a lot of social and technological advances in the last 100 years or so. Like this one, back in 1908, we had the invention of the Model T, the first automobile ever created in America. And today, we have the 2016 Bugatti Chiron. As we can tell, there have been a lot of advancements made to this technology. We also have the Wright Flyer, the first powered aircraft to fly successfully. It was built by the Wright brothers in 1903, and it only flew for about 120 feet for 12 seconds. But today, we have the MQ-9 Reaper, which is a military drone that is not piloted by any man. It is remote controlled and can reach speeds up to 300 miles per hour, which is honestly astonishing to see we've only done that in just over a century. Now, let us look at chemistry labs from the 1900s. We see there's a lot of equipment here. The students seem very involved, but we look today, these students, some of them are sleeping, some of them aren't paying attention, there's far less equipment. How similar does this look? What changes have been made? We also have textbooks, an elementary textbook, or not textbook, but just reading book for the 1900s. And Tom Sawyer, it was something that elementary kids read now. High school kids, still reading the same book. Showing that we not only haven't made any progression, but we seem to have digressed in the area of education. And we have the Mount Air High School, circa 1900. This was an industrial era learning facility, and today we still have T.A. Duggar, which still runs on that exact same operation. Do we see any differences between the two? I don't think so. This one looks a little nicer, but. So, because of this, we're announcing our involvement in XQ. So, who are they? They're an institute in service of parents and pioneers, entrepreneurs and teachers, business leaders and administrators, youth and education experts who are joining a movement to rethink America's schools. This is something that a lot of high school students have dreamt of. There are plenty of things we dread in school, like standardized testing or not being able to learn things just the way that's best for us or the way that we want to, because we're limited by state standards. So they announced the Super School Project. It is a project to create a revolutionary idea for a school in America that will reinvent the American education system and be one of the best, if not the best, school in America, possibly the world. And the schools must promote creativity and critical thinking to challenge the minds of our future students to see if we can go back to see what potential we've lost over the years. So, I'm going to pass the mic over.
So, the main thing about our design is known as the Bartleby School, and it's based solely around the idea of total freedom. We're going to limit standardized testing and homework and the standards of the curriculum, and we are going to promote critical thinking in our students and creativity and things that will make them better the world and our community. We want to encourage our students to be to think critically, and we want them to not be standardized. They're not a standard that we put into however much we pay their school. We want them to be themselves, and we don't want to limit their imaginations or what they think they're capable of.
Okay, so, sorry. Our official mission statement is that Bartleby High School will awaken the passions of the individual as a way to allow them to learn about their relationship to themselves and their community. So the question is, what does this do to our community? We live in one of the poorest regions of America, and yes, we do have an amazing school, Elizabethton High School, but we plan to help the community by creating an even better school that will bring positive attention to the community. 5 schools will split $50 million, and so that means we also get $10 million to build what we come up with as the perfect school. We do understand that this requires a great amount of work from everybody in the community to help create this school, but I think it will be well worth it in the long run. Also, it will allow children from the community to receive a different education that is not standardized, that is not the same education designed for factory workers of the early 1900s. So it is improving. Oh, and we are one of the final 350 other competitors out of 1,000? 8,000. Oh. So that's a big deal. Are there any questions?
Where are we getting that 50 million from?
It's $10 million. Originally, it was part of it was donated by Steve Jobs' wife, and then they also have other endorsements that equaled $50 million.
How aware are the other students in the high school about your project and what you're working on? Like, do they know that you're working on this?
Some do. We did take surveys in other classes of what they thought the perfect school would be, what they wanted. So it's not completely known in the school. It's still relatively unknown, but like our class, a few other classes know about it, and I think eventually they're going to be making an announcement about it soon for everyone in the school to know about.
Really impressive.
Good work.
Yeah.
And those of us who are a product of the 60s, go for it.
Thank you.
I know that who did you say was a major benefactor? Was it, their idea of reinventing things, or, education and the gates and things like that. That's really cool. I admire you guys taking this on. I mean, that really required you to really just kind of think outside the box, and I think that you're the students, you're the people we ought to be asking. Educators should, in Nashville and Washington, be asking you, how do you want to learn? Because it's changed. You guys have changed. I mean, it's so much different than when we were in school, and so Mr. Campbell, thank you for doing this. This was really cool, and your students, that's great.
It was a lot of fun, but in case it's not clear, they started out with 8,000, and then it went down to about 1,800, and then the next round went down to about 1,200. This is the finals.
So how were the students, like, how was the narrowing? How did that happen?
XQ does that. All the different people that participate in that, the entrepreneurs, the educational leaders, etc. So they judge the different entries, and this is the final. So if we make it to the next round, we will get $10 million to build the best school in America right here in Elizabethton City Schools.
That is
awesome.
just.
So,
That's
we have to
amazing.
be done May the 23rd, and they will announce the winners in early August.
Wow.
So we should know by then.
Well, what a really cool thing, and wow, we're proud of you guys. That's amazing, amazing.
Only just high school students or classes that are taking this on. We're going up against educational professionals like child psychologists, educational psychologists, people who have owned their own school before or been part of a school council. So we are some of the youngest competitors. The only high school I know of that is currently competing, I don't know if they're still in the running or not, was, I believe, Sullivan South.
Wow.
Regardless of the outcome, we applaud your spirit. We applaud what you've learned and what you brought to us. Regardless is still very important for the current system that we have, whether we win or don't win.
Wow, that's just
right.
wow. If we had a hat, we'd tip it, but we don't wear hats.
I think 60 Minutes needs to hear from you people.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think the other thing, too,
bet they'd
is
love to.
even if we do not win, we still need to have a conversation about what you can bring to the table that we need to look at, and what you found in your research. I think that's a good part for us to listen to you no matter what happens. So, but this is it's great. We applaud you for all your extra work. We'll give you a hand, too.
Thank you all so much. I think we have one more. Do we have one more?
We do. Mr. Hurley?
Now, Mr. Hurley, top that.
I don't have a PowerPoint. I don't have anything except me. Colbert said, "You better be animated, little buddy." And I said, "Thanks, Colbert. I can't pass up the Phil Former comment or any of those things. So you just have Travis Hurley. That's all you
We'll
have."
take an interpretive dance.
I don't think you want. Have
Oh,
you
I
seen my
do.
daughter dance? It's not. I dance a lot like her. It's where she gets her moves. Eastside Elementary, getting ready for round 2 of TN Ready. Actually starts next week, so our kids are geared up, ready to go for that, ready to get it over with. I know, and because we've been pushing them really hard. Field Day is approaching, May the 9th. Come see what Coach Horn and some of our people have rounded up for us. We have a Chewbacca outfit that I was going to ask Mr. Colbert to wear, but he's not quite tall enough to fit in it. But we do have some Star Wars characters that are going to make surprise appearances throughout our field day, which will be really neat. Some stormtroopers, things that most people probably don't know. We have a special little character, not me, Colbert, not me, coming to hang out with the kids also. The senior tea is on the 29th. This is the first senior tea that I get to be part of, where the group of students who went to Eastside Elementary come back, hang with their teachers, and the teachers get to see the benefits of what they have, get to reap what they have sown from the elementary world. Sometimes I think they forget, and these guys come back and say thank you to them, and that's really neat to hear that on that end. We're actually working on a summer reading grant through Ms. Troutman and Ms. Ayers. The biggest thing we need to do this summer is have our students read. We have to read and read and read. And we're going to do a principal reading challenge this summer where the kids are going to sign a pledge bookmark before they leave that they're going to read at least 20 books or more this summer. Once they keep the list, they bring it back into me over the summer, and I have to read 20 books or more this summer also. I asked if VolQuest counted, and they told me no. That's a website for UT football. But I'm going to read also, and once those students come back, hand me the sheet. We're going to put them in a hat, and each student from one grade level is going to win a new bicycle or a Books A Million gift card or Barnes & Noble gift card to go get more books. The summer grant that they're working on allows us to buy books from Scholastic and hand those out, and then they get to come in to a small house we have near the cafeteria, a little birdhouse looking thing that has books, and they can trade them in and out all summer long. So it's a cool, neat little thing that we get to do. And once again, if you want to see what's really going on at Eastside, and roll up your sleeves and come in and sometimes get things on your pants legs like I do, like last week with a student throwing up as I'm holding the trash can walking down the hallway. That was quite interesting. I got home, I said, you go scrub. But please come see us. Don't hesitate to come by. If you want to come by in the morning, there's always music playing outside. It's one of the things the kids enjoy. I play music in the mornings to get them going when they're coming into school, and you can see kids dancing, which makes me extremely happy. And sometimes Mr. Brown and myself also dance as we're opening car doors. So come see us. Don't hesitate to jump in and go into a classroom. You'll see teachers working and students really learning, and that's what's cool about my new job that I have. So thanks for letting me talk.
Thank you. Do you have any reports from the board? All right. I promised our Lady Cyclones that if they needed to leave, I'd give you a cue. This would be it. If you want to leave, you're welcome to stay. But if you want to go now, would be the good time to do that. Hey, thank you, girls. And thank you guys so much. Mr. Campbell's class, thank you all. Notice I never give the principals that option. Sorry about that. Maybe one of these days. All right, we'll get started on the regular agenda. We have about 4 items, so we'll just get going. First item is to approve a 1-year agreement, 2016-2017, with Power School for Interactive Achievement on Track, an online formative assessment program for all students in grades 3 through 11 in subject areas English, language arts, mathematics, science, and social studies. Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Thank you. Have a second?
Second.
Thank you.
All right, Ms. Taylor, if you come on up and tell us a little bit about IA.
Good evening. Whoa, move that back a little bit. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your service on our school board. Mr. Van Huss asked me to share some information with you this evening about interactive achievement and on track. And you do have a packet, I think, at your table area there. If you want to pull that out, we will be referencing that as I speak to you this evening. I want to start off giving you a little bit of background and our timeline as far as our school system and how we've been looking at interactive achievement. Last November, attended the LEAD conference in Nashville, and I noticed a session there about formative assessments. And this is something that we have been trying to find a newer online assessment for our students. We've been using Discovery Education for 4 years now, and so Dr. Gardner asked the coaches to be looking, and we just couldn't come up with anything that we felt was worthy of a change at the time. So when I saw this on the agenda, I attended the session, and Mr. Van Huss, Mr. Hobson, and Mr. David Wright were also there at that session. So we, after hearing the presentation, it was led by a couple of school systems, and they were featuring interactive achievement and On Track as their testing platform. So after the session, I went immediately to the exhibit hall to speak to one of the representatives, because I was really excited about the product and felt like we had found what we've been looking for a couple of years. So my first question to the rep, how much does it cost? You know, because it's just anytime you're looking at any kind of online platform, you know that there's an expense involved there. And then the next question for them was, what platform does it work on? Because we have different devices in our schools as far as computers go. So that was also a question for them. And after speaking with the representative, Matt Childers, we asked him to come here and share the information with Dr. Gardner, Dr. Newman, our principals, and several of our lead teachers from each school. We had representatives here from the 3 elementary schools, middle school, and high school in all subject areas, because it was important for us to find something that would meet the needs of all of our teachers teaching the 4 core subjects. So with that, they gave us a sandbox trial, and that was a 6-week trial where the teachers could go in and look at the questions, the question types, and just kind of get a feel for how interactive achievement works. We also received good feedback from the teachers after that, so we proceeded to the next step and asked them if we could participate in a pilot program. So we're currently in that pilot stage with our 4th grade teachers at all 3 elementary schools. Typically they have a pilot in one school, but we felt like because of our small system and also the fact that we have different devices in our schools, we wanted to test this out at the 3 elementary schools to get a good feel for how it might work for our teachers. Again, we've had really good feedback, and I'm really thankful that we had the opportunity to do the pilot, because we've been able to learn from this and figure out if we do get to continue with this, how to approach it for the entire school system. It's always nice to start out small with something, and really pleased with how that has been going. So all of our 4th grade teachers and students participated in the pilot for 2 months. The pilot ends at the end of April, just before all of the May madness begins in our schools. What is interactive achievement on track? So if you'll look at the first page there in your packet, we'll refer to that. On Track is a web-based instructional improvement system that delivers standards-aligned content, assessments, and instant reports for precise analysis of student achievement. And if you don't mind to look at page 2 there, went into several of our student tests. These test questions were placed in the tests by our 4th grade teachers. So on page 2 there, you're going to see different screenshots and reference to the second topic there. On Track provides question banks with multiple items, including technology-enhanced items similar to TN Ready's state summative assessments, multiple choice, multiple select, drag and drop, equation editor, and constructed response. So our new testing format is not just multiple choice anymore. So we want to prepare our students for these different types of item types. So you can see there on the top left, that's an example of a drag and drop type question. On the right, this is a multiple select type question. Identify the angles that measure less than 90 degrees. So You can see there would be 2 correct, but the students may select only 1. They would get it wrong. If they selected 3, they would get it wrong. They would only get the answer correct if they selected the 2 correct answers. At the bottom left, you can see this is simply a fill-in-the-blank type answer. And they have a lot of those in the language arts section as well. That's another math example. And then the last one there I pulled from English language arts test. And the students would see the passage on the left. And then again, they would have to select the passages that, they would have to select the sentences appropriately for that passage. And again, multiple select. We found in our trial that, in this pilot, that's probably the hardest thing for our students right now, so we want to get them used to that multiple select, simply because they've not had a lot of exposure to that, because typically our tests are pencil paper and you don't do that kind of thing. So, next point, On Track helps educators easily and instantly pinpoint students' successes and weaknesses through comprehensive online data. If you look at page 3, this is an example of an overview report. This is something that our principals would pull quickly as they were looking at the data based on a weekly formative assessment that the teachers have given the students for the week based on a standard that they've covered. So I've removed the teacher name, the school name, student's name from all of these reports. But you can see here quickly the principal and teacher will get a super fast visual of their overview report. You can see 59 students tested on this particular standard of antonyms and synonyms. And kind of hard to read there. Looks like it's at 86.4% passed at 70% and above. And then the 13.6 in the red. What's so nice about that, when the teacher has this pulled up on the computer at their desk, they can click on that red tab and the names pull up. So you see exactly which students immediately you know who you'll need to help with this particular standard in intervention, remediation, small group time, individuals. It's also something that you can pass on to the interventionists in the school and the special education teachers if those are applicable. We also have the subgroups down below there, which are important to us for our state assessments. So we can look quickly, again, by clicking on either the green or the red to pull up a list of students very quickly. On Track provides teachers immediate and accurate information about where to focus their instruction to help every student grow and achieve. If you look at page 4, you'll see a sample of a grade sheet. This is a report that the teachers will drill down and they can be more specific in following their students' progress on the testing and assessments. You can see there were 10 questions on this particular test. And my eye, let's say this is my class, my eye would draw down and look. One of my students made a 40 on the test. I would be asking questions. Was the student present for the instruction? Was something else going on? Is this typical of what they would score? That's a red flag to me. I would be looking to see what might be going on there. Next, as a visual, I will be going across the top just under the numbers 1 through 10. And you can see on number 8, does that draw red flag there again? Yes. Number 8 concerns me. So I would look and I would click at the top of that. I would look at the question. I would look at the answer choices. I would see what type of question was that. Was that one of the multiple selects that our students are having trouble with right now? Webb's depth of knowledge, Bloom's taxonomy, all of those things are indicated there. I could look at that quickly and see what might be going on because only 6 of my 21 students got that correct. So there's just a lot of information here in the reports. There are other reports that would help us drill down as well, but those are the ones that I wanted to highlight for you this evening. There's also some more information about On Track there on the next couple of pages. In closing, I wanted to share some facts and some comments from our pilot participants. Interactive achievement solutions have been utilized by over 1.6 million students and 180,000 teachers every day by districts in 12 states, including Virginia, New Jersey, South Carolina, Kansas, Tennessee, West Virginia, Indiana, and Ohio. Local districts utilizing On Track include Johnson City, Johnson County, and some schools in Carter County. Other local systems currently exploring IA On Track include Sullivan County, Kingsport, and Bristol. I think Dr. Newman got a call from someone in Bristol just last week asking about our pilot and what we thought about it. So they're talking with them as well. This one was most impressive. Interactive Achievement retained 100% of its customers in the 2014-15 school year. This demonstrates the quality of the program and how it is managed. Mr. Hurley, principal from Eastside, states interactive achievement allows us to be more efficient in looking at data to pinpoint specific levels of our students' performance and quickly identify their improvement needs. Ms. Tammy Markland is here this evening, and Ms. Markland, I want to thank her personally here in front of everyone. She has been all in with this and working closely with me. We text often throughout the day as she's giving her assessments and looking at reports, and we've been learning through this together, and then we can share that with the other fourth grade teachers, and then in turn share this with everyone when we have all our teachers on board. Tammy states, I was thrilled to finally have a program for my weekly formative assessments that actually assesses my students the way that I am teaching and the way that they will be assessed on the TN Ready tests. There are multiple choice questions, multiple select questions, and short answer questions. The questions on IA cover all 6 levels of the web's depth of knowledge and require the students to apply what they have learned. The program is easy for the students to use. The reports that I get are very detailed and help guide my reteaching and remediation. I can easily create assessments to meet the individual needs of my students. That's all I have. If you have any questions for me or Ms. Markland or our 3 principals that participated in the pilot, we'd be happy to answer those at this time.
Do I understand you to say that the pilot is finished?
We will have through the end of this month.
Mm-hmm.
So
and when you're in the pilot program, there's no cost.
right, no cost for the pilot.
And is this replacing Discovery?
Yes.
Because I noticed your cost here is $22,000, $21,800.
I think that's correct. Let me get the.
What was the Discovery fee?
Discovery was it 16?
I think it was around 16 or 18.
Yeah.
Marcia, we have the technology to meet the needs of this next year?
We do. Now that you guys have purchased Chromebooks, we are progressing towards that. We have laptops already in some of the laptop carts in some of the all of our elementary schools at least have one, right? But with the Chromebooks, we have found those work really well, and I think that we're looking to get more of those as the year moves on. So
you're doing this for the starting in the fall for the next school
Yes, sir.
year. Now, is this going to go all the way up to 11th grade? Will
Yes.
it go way to high school?
Yes,
Okay.
all of our tested grades, 3 through 11, and then the 4 core subjects. So any of the teachers that are teaching the 4 core will have access to this.
Has the pilot included the upper grades?
Only 4th grade.
Okay, so
We've only, our middle school and high school teachers had access to the sandbox, which was a trial just to look at the question types. And we wanted to get feedback from them before we proceeded with anything else. So we had pretty good feedback that they felt like that there were enough test items or items in the test bank to meet their needs. So, but we've only piloted 4th grade, and because of that, during the pilot, we can't look at any other parts of the program, just 4th grade material.
Are there any system level reporting options
Yes.
that can
Yes.
Help the administrators as well?
Yes. System level reports. One system level report will look a lot like that overview report that I shared with you. And we can build common assessments with this, as we've done in the past, where the instructional coaches working with the teachers could build exams, and then everybody in third grade would take the same math assessment at the same time, and we could look at those numbers as well.
Like we could compare how students at East Side
Yes.
versus West Side versus Harold McCormick are
Yes.
performing in the same grade at the same day on the same tests.
Yes.
And
Do you have a contract, or is it just yearly? You have to sign a contract?
For the 1 year, yes.
Just 1 year?
Now, with Discovery, our first contract was for 3 years,
Mhm.
and then we did a 1-year extension.
Mhm.
So this one, we're just doing the 1 year, and they agreed to do that.
Well, it seems to me that it's only $6,000 more than what you're spending, and with all the comments you've had, it
Mhm.
sounds to me like a pretty good idea.
No kidding.
We're really pleased with it, and just the fact that it's much more rigorous, and you have the access to those item types that are similar to what our kids will see, our students will see in our state assessments.
This is great.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Call for a vote then.
Sure. Item on the floor is to approve one-year agreement 2016-2017 with Power School for Interactive Achievement On Track, an online formative assessment program for all students in grade 3 through 11 in the subject areas of English, language arts, mathematics, science, and social studies. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 All approve? All this, okay. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. All of a sudden, I forgot how to speak. Next item, approve suspension of the special purchases section, line 15 through 21 of Board Policy 2.805, purchasing to all the system to make direct material purchase for use in the completion of the EHS track resurfacing renovation at Elizabethton High School. Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you.
We've done this on our last several projects, and it has really proved to be fantastic for us as far as having some extra money at the end. Part of what we've been able to do with the music room has come from that, and I think when you see that and it's opened up and you come to that, some of the savings that we've had, we've been able to purchase instrument storage and some other things. So it's been very helpful on both the stadium and the music room project.
Anybody have any questions? Okay. All right. Item on the floor, approve suspension of the special purchases section, lines 15 through 21 of Board Policy 2.805, purchasing to all the system to make direct material purchases for use in the completion of the EHS track resurfacing renovation at Elizabethton High School. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 All opposed? Motion carries. Next, approve membership for ECS with NPP Gov, the National Purchasing Partners Government Division. Can I get a motion to approve? Thank you. And have a second?
Second.
Thank you.
This is just one more opportunity for us to be able to buy things at a reduced rate, kind of like we've done with TSBA. And so there's no fee, but it is an opportunity for us to look at that where it's already bid out, for us to buy goods and services there.
Is this just taking what we have now? We have a statewide program. Is this just expanding it to a national organization?
Yeah, it gives us a few more options for what we have. Some of the things that we'll never take full advantage of what we have at the state, and probably won't take full advantage. But if there's one thing that we can buy more cheaply through something like this, it's worth it, and that's no cost.
So this is a federal program.
It's a national program.
Okay.
It is for federal government. I think it's just government divisions.
So that it's taxpayer funded. I mean, when you say no cost, somebody has to pay for it, so it's got to be the taxpayers, right?
I imagine what happens is people reduce costs in order to be a part of it.
Yeah, okay.
And so in order to have that fixed government money,
It's an
large
incentive.
pool, yeah, it is.
Any other questions or comments? Item on the floor is to approve membership for ECS with NPP Gov, National Purchasing Partners Government Division. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. And then on your next page, we had some additions. This is the last item. Approved payment of $12,232.69 to Premier Equipment for repairs to ECS school bus. Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Thank you. Can I have a second?
Second.
Thank you so much for the opportunity to have this. We, of course, have a bus that is blowing blue smoke at this point, or was, and so we would thank you so much for getting it back on the road. With a new engine.
Do we have any questions or comments?
Is this considered an emergency expense?
Yes.
Okay.
Blue smoke equals emergency expense.
Blue
Yeah,
smoke
okay.
and slow speed.
Item on the floor is to approve payment of $12,232.69 to Premier Equipment for repairs to ECS school bus. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, motion carries. Just again, a couple of reminders. Oh, also, I hope everyone received this from Dwayne Taylor from the Sycamore Shoals Hospital, National Nurses Week, and we have been invited to walk in a nurse's shoes. That's going to take place, in May, and we would get to shadow a nurse for a couple of hours. And I believe it said that if Mr. Fleming participated, he had to be have his mouth taped, but I owed you for the other comment. But anyway, I hope everybody participates in this. I think this would be really interesting and probably make us appreciate what these wonderful men and women do who take care of us when we're in the hospital. So please pay attention to that. I think there's a deadline that we need to let them know, but I hope many of us as possible can. I saw Miss Foster was here. I saw Harvey Saturday night. Her students knocked that out of the park. The amount of dialogue those kids memorized was ridiculous, and thank them. That was amazing. So yeah, that was cool. A couple other things. Dr. G's already mentioned it, but I'm going to do a quick reminder. Tomorrow night, Top 10% Banquet. Please be there. Thursday, the groundbreaking for the track. Then we have Honors Day, May 10. Graduation, May 15. Also, next board meeting, which is going to be Tuesday night, May 17th, here at 6:30. I would like for us to do a new board picture. We have not had a picture with Dr. Gardenauer, so be prepared.
It's
I'll be the
picture
one to
day.
forget.
You have to remember it's
Picture day. That's right. Wear something pretty. So, again, next regular meeting is going to be Tuesday, May 17th, 6:30, here in the Mac Pierce Boardroom. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Good night.